Namaste friends, welcome to our channel Think Tank India. In Think Tank India today, we have with us Mr. Satoru Nagao, the Emeritus Non-Resident Professor of Hudson Institute, USA. He is a defense expert, strategist, political analyst, and political strategist also. Mr. Nagao, welcome to our channel again. And today we will discuss on the China-Taiwan conflict. From 1949, when China was divided between China and Formosa or present Taiwan, from that time China and is not accepting Taiwan as an independent country. From that time, China and Taiwan are conflicting between two nations. So on this event, on this topic, we'll discuss with Mr. Nagao. Mr. Nagao, welcome to our channel.
Thank
So
you very
what
much
is
for
your
hello, you are mute, I think.
okay. Sir, when did the conflict between China and Taiwan start?
And this is a good question because there are two definitions. First one is if this China versus Taiwan is a conflict in China, so two parties fight each other to who is legitimate government in China. In this case, it has started long before the World War II. But if we talk about the current situation, China versus Taiwan, it has started, the current Chinese government has established, which is 1949, and Taiwan was independent and separated. And this especially in 1970s, 80s, 90s, during the process, Taiwanese people identify themselves as the independent people in the independent country. That's why when was the starting time? Yes, second definition is 1980s, 90s, 2000. Recently, Taiwanese people identify themselves as an independent country. That was starting point. So that's why there are two definitions. Starting point in the continent, a starting point between Taiwan and China is different.
So, sir, what caused the split between China and the Taiwan?
Of course, first definition, of course, who is the legitimate government of the Chinese mainland, the continent, who is the leader is the main part. But ideological background are different. The current Chinese Communist Party, which governs Chinese mainland, is led by Mao. And Mao leads Clausewitz the theory a lot to win the war. He's the guy in the war. But at the same time, they accept they are the communists. Mao hasn't read any communist ideology book. People believe he know the tactics much, not ideology. But at the same time, he leads the government of the communists. So ideological difference is different exists. Current Taiwan, originally they are a little bit authoritarian type, but now they are democratic. So ideology is different between the socialism or the communist type and free and democratic regime currently. So that is one of the cause of problem. But at the same time, when we talk about what kind of group they consisted during the process of history, indeed, who is a friend is a matter of concern. And especially in case of the Japan-China War, just before the World War II, and continued during the World War II, that time they arrived. So the current communist side or the Taiwan side allied against Japan. That time, the interesting thing has happened. Uh, when they arrive, they try to share the post of the government. And the communist side demand the teacher of the defense academy to train the officer of the armed forces. That was typical indirect invasion indeed. Because after the World War II, Japan lost the war and they start the civil war. That time, who is a friend is a matter of concern. Communist side persuade their former students in the armed forces and include them as their forces because they are the former teacher of the defense academy of these people. So they create a friend inside of the democratic side. And so once the civil war has started, view from the equipment, well-armed side is the Taiwan side, indeed. But despite this, many leaders of the Taiwan side has betrayed and joined the communist side during the civil war. And finally, the communist side won and formed the current China. That has happened in the civil war after the World War II. So, who is the friend of who is indeed a very important factor to win the war in this case. And this has happened by using the indirect invasion style method. So Chinese Communist Party, led by Mao, Mao is expert of the guerrilla tactics, irregular war tactics. He is not communist. People believe indeed, even if he is leader of the communists, because he haven't read the book of the communists related indeed. But he is expert of the tactics in the war, how to include enemy as a friend or something like that, how to fight. Because the Mao's history is Mao go to the mountain and there is a gang, but kill the leader of the gang and burn the gang. I am the leader of the gang, something like that. His character is something like that. So that's why Mao is the leader in the war, always. And so during the peacetime, maybe it is lazy for him, I think. But anyway, because of this, Mao's tactics as an indirect invasion to the Taiwan side has succeeded after the World War II, and they won in the mainland. So, who is a friend of who is decisive factor in this case. I should stop it. Thank you.
Sir, when did China give up Taiwan?
They haven't given up. They still seeking to include Taiwan, annex Taiwan as their territory. And currently, the people are worrying. It will happen in 2025 or 27, that time. There are two reasons. Firstly, the military balance has changed. For example, about the naval ships. Indian Chief of Naval Ships, Chief of Navy, pointed out last decade, so 10 years, last decade, China built 148 ships. 148 is a big number because this is the size, same size with the Indian Navy or Japanese Navy. Total number of the naval ships they possess is nearly 140 to 150. So China built 148 last decade is creating one big Indian Navy in one decade. So such kind of the rapid pace military modernization is a threat and changing the military balance in this region. Of course, the U.S. provide weapons to Taiwan or other countries cooperate each other, but China's rapid military modernization, their pace is very fast. They also increase the nuclear weapon too, and the new missile arsenal is a key factor. Missile arsenal, some thousand missiles China possess, and these missiles, Taiwan is under range of these missiles. So that's why the military balance has changed. So in 2025, 2027, there is a possibility that China has advantage militarily, at least temporary. Current budget level, military spending, simply in the Sweden think tank pointed out, US spends 3 times bigger military spending in the world. But US forces focusing on many area, wider area in the world, in the Europe, Middle East, other area also. And the US providing the weapon to Ukraine and Israel. This means that weapon arsenal stock of the ammunition was decreasing. Now Japan is sending the United States to fill the gap because US has already sent this arsenal to the Ukraine. So that's why the US needs their own their weapon. So in this case, Japan try to fill this stock. UK also. UK is also importing the 155 millimeter ammunition for the howitzers. Why? Because from Japan in this case, because they have already gave to Ukraine these ammunition. But how about China? China provides the material to produce the weapons to Russia. But China hasn't gave Russia the weapon itself. This means that about ammunition, China has kept the ammunition themselves. Just a material to produce, they can send Russia, but they hasn't provide Russia the ammunition. This means that they have kept the ammunition to invade Taiwan. So view from this situation, current situation is very dangerous because China is improving their military capability. Today it's dangerous, and until the 2027, every year China get advantages. That is military balance part. Another reason is Xi Jinping will be the fourth term. Currently, Xi Jinping's tenure is under third term, but third term is one kind of miracle because in the Chinese history, only few people continue as a leader. Third term is very rare. But even if the third term they continue as a leader, Xi Jinping want to enter the fourth term people expected. But fourth term is, even if the third term is one kind of miracle, fourth term is of course really a miracle. He need to persuade other people to admit he is a leader, some special leader of China. In this case, miracle achievement is needed. Big achievement is needed to prove he is a legitimate leader. Just before the fourth term, 2027 will come. This means that if Xi Jinping succeed to occupy Taiwan, it could be the legitimate reason to continue as a leader. So that's why the many people, many experts in the US Indo-Pacific Commander, the CIA chief, these people pointed out 2027 is dangerous time and China will invade Taiwan. But of course, there is another factor. It is not easy, of course. But I should explain this maybe later. Because I should not talk forever. I just stop it. Thank you.
Sir, my last question to you. What is the China-Taiwan island dispute?
Okay. Yes, that is a good question. Indeed, related with the third question, I did not explain in the answer of the second question. I believe it is not easy decision to invade Taiwan for Xi Jinping, I would say, because firstly, China hasn't committed to any successful military operation, big military operation for a long time. This means that before they start a big military operation, they need the confidence to do that. Because without a successful image, without confidence, they cannot do that. Such kind of the risky decision, it is not easy for anyone. So, in this case, repeated exercises and China has done maybe create some certain level of the confidence. That's true. So we need to check the exercises carefully. That's true. But at the same time, anyway, it is not easy decision. And secondly, situation is moving one by one, and it could be the U.S.-China Cold War has started. Because if China invade Taiwan, of course, U.S. will try to protect Taiwan. But this is not only the ally to support Taiwan. Because if China succeeded to occupy Taiwan, they need to take air dominance, and that's why air base in Japan will be the threat for Chinese military operation. Especially the U.S. Air Force use air base in Japan, in Okinawa or Island or other air base in Japan. If China cannot attack these bases, U.S. fighter jet fly and attacks the Chinese for invading forces and return to the sacred place, which is base in Japan. So China need to attack these bases to win the war in Taiwan. This means that China will attack the base in Japan. This means that China's invasion to Taiwan could be the Japan-China war and U.S.-China war too. And there's a possibility Philippines face the similar situation. So that could be the very big war. So that's why it is not an easy decision. When we remember what happened in the Western Berlin or West Germany, just beginning of the Cold War between US and Soviet Union, it is easy to occupy the West Berlin. Soviet can do that, but Soviet hasn't done because if they attacked Berlin, if they attacked West Germany, it could be the big war between the Soviet allies, the Warsaw Treaty Group, and versus NATO. This will be the very big war. That's why it is not easy decision. So nearly the half a century, it did not happen. So that's why in case of the Taiwan, now there is a possibility China's invasion toward Taiwan will be the big war between US side and China. That's why it is not easy to do that. This could be US-China Cold War. So Taiwan crisis or simulation of Taiwan crisis, war in Taiwan, could will affect the order in this region, affect many decision making in this region, but still it is not easy to happen. That could be the scenario I expected. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You come to our channel and explain us briefly about China-Taiwan conflict. And for another discussion, we'll again invite you to our channel. And audience, please watch, subscribe, and like our channel, Think Tank India. Namaste.